or for yourself and your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball. Welcome in to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
Hey, welcome to the Get Your Happy On Hour. I'm your host, Ricky C. Simmons. This is 93.7 The Ticket. Man, look at here. I got to give a big shout out to Matt Warner and Empire Fencing out in Waverly, Nebraska, sponsoring the show, showing me a lot of love, making me feel really, really, really good about things. And I'm just very proud of you guys and what you stand for. Well, hey, listen. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I'm excited. I'm excited every day, but I'm really excited about my guest tonight. And I, before we get to my guest, I want to tell you guys something. This world we live in, it has all kinds of things that you're gonna have to experience. You're gonna have to experience some adversity, some ups and downs. But the key to it is you can't quit. And you can never drop your head, because the minute you drop your head, you're basically saying, I give up. That's never going to happen here. And I got a great example of that tonight as a guest. If you didn't know anything about Nebraska football, we're like a family. You know, if you played before me, you're my big brother. You played after me, you're my little brother. So even though he's bigger than me, he's still my little brother. Jason Peter, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, Ricky. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Well, Jason, you know, I had told Steve Sipple last week and told people that you were going to be on the show, man, and Adam Carrick and all those guys, and they were like, man, I'm tuning into that. I'm tuning into that. So we cannot disappoint tonight.
No, and you're right. It's all family. I mean, we were talking about it before, and you know, that's just something I think that was passed on from Devaney to Osborne.
Yes.
And you know, hopefully that's kind of the environment that you want to create down there as well today. I mean, it was important for Charlie, you know, McBride and T.O. that the current players knew about the past and knew who the players were and knew, you know, the guys that laid the groundwork.
Oh yeah. Well, I look at those 70s teams, like, even though my time was the 80s, you know, with Rozier and Fryer and Gill and Steinkooler and, you know, Big Dave Remington. I mean, the list goes on and on. Yeah. But we looked up to the 70s team, you know, like, you know, Jeff Kenny, Johnny Rogers. I mean, they had Red Baron. They had a lot of guys that were really, really good. And it was something about this, and here's the funny part for me. When I would be at practice and those guys from the 70s national championship teams would show up to practice, it was kind of like, oh, man, I got to tighten up my belt.
Turn it up.
I got to get my chin strap a little tighter because I didn't want those guys to feel like I wasn't giving my best.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that kind of happened for you guys as well. Oh,
my gosh.
Because, I mean, when you know people have set a standard, it's just like, man, I don't want to be the one to let them down.
I mean, that was always, I mean, hearing you say that, and then for us, like, and for me being a D lineman, like, I mean, when Danny Noonan and Neil Smith would be like coming to watch practice, it was like, hey, you guys see who's over there? Turn it up. Let's go. Even more. Even though we think we got the pedal to the floor, there's a little more. Let's show them more. You know? And it's a motivating factor. I don't know why coaches today, and I'm not saying that they don't, right? Not the current guys, but in years past, there's been kind of this fight, this battle between the current regime and the former players, right? Like,
right.
I'm not saying we want to go down there and draw up plays, the X's and O's, but just our presence can be a positive thing down there.
I agree. And I agree with that.
If they're wired the same way, which you hope that they are, right? Like, then they should appreciate the guys that came before.
Yeah, because, I know, and we make jokes about certain things, but, they didn't just start playing football in Nebraska in 2010.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, they were playing long before
Although
that.
It seems like that because that was, I guess, what Bach, you probably know better. When was the birth of social media? Because social media, the social media, there's a divide, I think, in the fan base, and it's kind of that 35, 38 and under. The kind of the, I don't know, the people that were around, when social media kind of first started, and they kind of think that that's when like Husker football started. Like we just started a team in 2010. Prior to that, we were an all girls school or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And then you have the kind of the old heads, and it was funny because when the black jersey thing came out, the amount of hate going back and forth between, I guess, older fans and then the younger fans, and I was embarrassed to almost be like, well, I'm a Nebraska fan, like, where do I fit in this?
Right.
This is a problem. We got one side's rowing in one direction and the other side's rowing in the other one. Like, I can't remember, and obviously we didn't have social media, but I can't remember a time where it was so kind of divided like that.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that because I've shared this story before, but just, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, so I'm just going to say it. I travel a lot. And I was in the airport once. I think I was changing planes or something. I was in Las Vegas, trying to catch a flight to Omaha. And I am a proud Husker fan. Yeah. Let's get that out there in the open. When I'm away from Nebraska, I rep the Huskers. Yeah. I don't care if I'm in Oklahoma. I don't care if I'm in my home state of Texas. I don't care.
Right.
I'm repping the Huskers. Well, I'm in this airport, and I got on the Husker polo. And this little boy, he was probably 10 years old, and he was with his mom, and he was he was just a little bit further. I guess he was about a meter back away, but he kept looking at my shirt. And, man, he would look at my shirt, and he'd look at his mother. He'd look at my shirt, and he'd look at his mother. And I heard the kid, because I had headphones on, but I wasn't listening to nothing. Right. So I heard him. He goes, "Mom, I never knew Netflix had a polo." Hey, man, I took offense to it, but I realized the kid is 10.
Right.
So I can't be upset with him because he don't know any better, like you say. So what I did, though, because I just wasn't going to let it go, right before I boarded the plane, I took out one of my football cards. Yeah. And I went to his mother. I said, "Hey, could you give this to your son?" And she said, "Oh, okay, yeah. But I wanted him to know that N didn't stand for Netflix.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say is a lot of former players I know especially me, I'm just real proud of the program.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know where it was,
Yep.
and I know where I want it to be.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think sometimes those regimes before this one, I think they did kind of, take it a little personal when guys were walking around. But I agree with you. I never wanted to. I mean, I'm never there over 15 minutes anyway.
Right.
So I ain't trying to drop no plays.
Right.
I just want to. I'm a fan, dude. You know, and I was under the impression when I left that you could, we would always be welcome.
Yeah. And it's important for them to know the guys personally, too.
Yes.
Like, I've always tried to have a relationship with some of the guys, whether we were welcome down there or not, you know, and going back to Ndamukong and obviously the last couple guys that I was close with were Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmacher. It's just and there's something like, I mean, if Danny or Neil kind of, if we had cell phones back then and we were able to, text them back and forth, I would have been all over that. Like, what little nugget could this guy potentially give me that changes my game? You know what I mean? And these guys have been through it. They've been through the battles that we're trying to go through.
Right.
Like, it's nothing but positive, I think. So the fact that you try to keep, and I know for us, like the 90s guys, there's a lot of like talk, especially being down there. And again, I'm not saying down there now, I'm saying in just in the past, that, and you see it a lot on social media, like the 90s is what holding us back because that's all people want to talk about. Well, that was the last time we were freaking good. Right. You know what I mean? So that tends to be the time where people, when everybody's on social media sticking their chest out with their, with their college shirt on.
Right.
I mean, that's the last time that we were a dominant program. So yeah, that's what people are going to talk about. Doesn't mean if the players are that weak-minded, that having a few guys from the 90s or 80s or 70s standing on the sidelines, then you got bigger problems than just us going down there.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Correct. And I agree with that. I'll say this, Jason, first of all, I got to say it again, man. I'm really appreciative of you because for you to come to do the show, because when we was up in Sioux City, I had everybody out there ducking, by the way, because I don't know where them red Callaways were going, but anyway, but we had a good time, man. And, and it was good to reconnect with you and a lot of the other guys. I think what I want to do though, Jason, I want people to know not just the 3-time national champions. Yeah. Jason. Yeah. I want to go back, man. Yeah. I want to talk about your upbringing a little bit. Yeah. Where are you from?
Grew up in Jersey, about central Jersey, like 40 minutes outside of New York City.
Okay.
And like 10 minutes from the shore. When I tell people I'm from the Jersey Shore, then they automatically think of those idiots from that from that MTV show, Jersey Shore. Yeah. Where I think like 95% of them weren't even from Jersey. They were from like Rhode Island and Connecticut and stuff like that, but whatever. So it was funny because I ran into some people last week and they were talking about the new movie, that Happy Gilmore 2.
Okay.
And there's a scene in there. Did you see it, Bach?
Yeah.
Did you see it, Rick?
I haven't seen it.
Bach's seen it though. So it started a movie when he's kind of forced to sell, grandma's house again, and they move into like small apartment. Yeah. And they're at the dinner table, and I forget what started the fight, but the brothers end up putting each other in like headlocks and start hitting each. So these people come up to me and they're like, "That's how we think it was growing up in the Peter house." And I'm like, "Well, you're not wrong. That's how it was. 3 brothers, and then I had a sister that came kind of considerably later. 11 years younger than me. We fought every day. Every day. There was not a day that went by where we were not fighting. As long as I can remember. My mom would be in tears pretty much daily, but all she had to do was say those words, "Wait till your dad gets home." And we knew once she said that, it was over. Like there was nothing that we could say to her or do, or it was going to fix it when he was getting home. And then you just knew, stay out of dad's way. Like, Go find a corner and hide somewhere and hope he doesn't come looking for you.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, apparently you played some ball in high school.
I didn't start playing until my junior year of high school.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was a hockey player.
Oh, okay.
And we played soccer growing up. My father was from Germany, was an immigrant from Germany.
Okay.
So he was a big, like, kind of soccer fan. Didn't really understand football. Probably didn't understand it even all the way up until we played through Nebraska in the NFL. Yeah, so we did soccer kind of in the fall, and we swam in the summer, and we played ice hockey in the winter. And I would do all the hockey camps and stuff like that. I actually went to an all boys private school, like a Christian school, my freshman year, specifically to play ice hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And then Christian he was 2 years older than me, so he had started playing football his junior year as well. And I kind of saw, like, all the attention he started to get, all these universities, and, every day in the mail, it'd be Georgia, Alabama, Nebraska, Oklahoma letters and everything just coming. And I was like, I think I'm done playing soccer. I need something else to do. And, probably my mom and we wanted to play like when we were kids, except they would never, like, sign the papers for us to play Pop Warner.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. She's just, I don't know. They just wouldn't do it. And eventually, though, when we got to high school, which I don't think was the worst thing, because, football is a sport that you could potentially get burnt out a lot on.
Oh, absolutely.
It's physically demanding. Not that the other ones are not, but, it can take its toll on you. So, and especially kind of with everything that happened to me health-wise, like with my back and my neck and everything, my entire spine, maybe it was better that I didn't, play early. I played 1 year in seventh grade. I should say 1 year in seventh grade, but it was a joke.
It wasn't that good.
I was like a cornerback. I was like a cornerback and tight end or something. I don't think I ever caught one ball and maybe made a couple tackles.
But now, when I'm gonna fast forward, for you guys to have the success to have these offers.
Yeah.
Why Nebraska?
Well, so it really comes down to Christian. So Christian, he played his junior year at Middletown South in New Jersey. Had all, like, pretty much could go anywhere that he wanted. I mean, and going into his senior year, and it literally came down to like 10 minutes before the opening kickoff of the first game of the season, his senior year in high school. The New Jersey State Athletic Board or whatever deemed him academically ineligible, saying he transferred high schools too many times. Right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Which was odd because I don't know who was keeping track, like who brought that to them, in the first place. Like, was somebody tracking Christian Peters, academic progress the entire time? It was probably someone from maybe one of the other teams or something that said something. But anyway, it came down to, like, literally, like, he was in the locker room, dressed, ready to go out and play in the first game. And the coach came in and said, that's it. You can't play for the rest of the year. But in New Jersey, you can play, like, I think up to 3 scrimmages against other schools prior to the season starting. So he had scrimmage tape.
Oh, gotcha.
And Coach Osborne, now the 99% of the schools all dropped off when they said he couldn't play. But Coach Osborne still saw the scrimmage tape, and I remember, like, Christian going into a scene, like, he was a beast, and and I hadn't really hit my growth spurt yet, so he really looked like a beast to me, like, growing up in that house and getting beatings from him every day, because he would beat me, and I'd have to take it out on my younger brother, so I'd beat him, and then I'd get beat again by Christian for beating my younger brother. But yeah, so it basically came down to Nebraska and Temple were the only 2 schools that kept their scholarship offers to Christian, and at the time Temple was they were bad. So it was an easy pick for him. But then when I came out, well, and my path was a little different as well too, because I was young, real young for my age. I was 16. I was 16 when I was a senior, still in high school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So most of my friends were either, well into 17, or some were even turning 18. So, but I played the 2 years in New Jersey at Middletown South, and I had one scholarship offer, and it was from Northeastern University in Boston. And it's like a co-op school, but they're like they were a 1AA school.
Mm.
And, Christian had already come to Nebraska, and I really like that. Going from my junior to senior year, I went from like 6'1", like 170 to like 6'4", 235, 240. So I started to hit my growth spurt then. And I just, I was just not satisfied with Northeastern. So, and Nebraska kind of came in at the end and wanted to do like a preferred walk-on, but University of Miami also came in, and they were trying to get me to come down there after high school in New Jersey.
Okay.
So there was a coach down at the University of Miami. He was he was probably there when you guys played him. Art Kehoe. He was the offensive line coach down there for years and years and years. And he came to my parents and he said, "Look, I know Jason doesn't seem thrilled about, just the preferred walk-on sort of deal." And well, he goes, "There's a school up in Connecticut called Milford Academy. And you can either kind of repeat your senior year up there, or you can be a postgraduate student and you not lose any eligibility. You can still accept a scholarship at the season's end and, go on and have your, 4 or 5 years of college football." So we decided to do that. Now, it wasn't as easy as just deciding. So in order to repeat your senior year, or in order to do the postgraduate year, you have to graduate from your high school, but you have to have the 2.0 in your core courses. So like the math and science and stuff like that. So I had one class where it didn't look like that was going to be possible. It was not going to be possible for me to do that. So we come up with this plan where we just decide, okay, well, Jason's not going to graduate from Middletown South. So I had like 6 lunches, I'd go to like gym class, I'd go lift weights and stuff. And the funny thing is, like, when we're trying not to graduate, some of these teachers get wind of what we're doing. And then all they want to do, they don't agree with it. So all they're planning on doing is graduating me.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
So we get into this whole deal. Finally, we get, smarter people in the room, and they're like, "Look, this is not us trying to, somehow beat the system or do anything, mischievous. This is just kind of the path that has to happen in order for him to be able to do this." So we end up getting it done, and I go up to Milford Academy, and I mean, what a difference a year makes, because at the end of that season, I mean, there was not a scholarship offer that I didn't have. I think, I ended up being the top recruit in the Northeast. So
wow.
Yeah,
1 year.
Yeah. One year. And, like when I finished that year, I was probably about 6'5", 265.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Total transformation.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. You chose Nebraska.
Yeah.
Is that because of your brother?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously I loved everything that it was nice getting off the plane down in Miami too. And when I went to Miami, it was funny because my mom came on all my trips with me. Right.
Oh, okay.
So I went out to University of Washington, went to Georgia Tech, went to Syracuse and Nebraska, and who else did I can't remember right now, but so get off the plane in Miami, and they put me in one car and my mom in the other, and another car.
Separated.
Oh yeah. As soon as we got off the plane, and they took her down to the academic, center.
Yeah.
The strength coach and me and a couple of the assistant coaches went down to like down to the beach, down to South Beach. And we went down like where it's like nude beach.
Yeah.
And we just walked. They just walked me down the beach for like an hour. And they were like, "This can all be yours," you know. And it was tempting. It was tempting. But there was maybe that little voice in the back of my head who ultimately knew what would happen to me years later.
Yeah.
Knew this is not the right spot for you. This is not the right spot for you, Jason Peter.
Well, hey, look, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with Jason Peter. Don't y'all go anywhere. This is 93.7 The Ticket, so get your happy on out.
Hi, I'm Casey Oddie, and I'm the Retail Banking Manager at your local Midwest Bank branch on 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Banking may be my job, but supporting the community is what I care most about. Whether I'm showing up at local events, partnering with schools, or helping people reach financial milestones, I am proud to be a part of what makes Lincoln strong. Let's build something together. Stop by and say hi. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. With the school year here, A1 Automotive reminds you that college students get 10% off any service, and they offer free tire repair with a valid college ID. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive or downtown at 11th and L.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his two locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Sometimes it's hard to know if substance use is becoming a problem, especially when it becomes part of daily life or social routines. Take the free assessment, Is Your Substance Use Harmful?, at myhealthymind.credibleminde.com so you can understand your risk. You can take the assessment anonymously. In just minutes, you'll get practical, non-judgmental guidance and resources to support your health and well-being. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant. MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
If the power is out, keep your fridge and freezer closed. Perishable food lasts 4 hours in the fridge, and frozen food lasts up to 2 days if it stays below 40 degrees. See more tips at les.com/safety.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Back to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
Hey, and we're back. Man, I mean, Jason, you made a complete turnaround, and you went through this. You had such a successful senior year that all these schools just showed up.
Yeah.
And I know it was tempting walking around on Miami Beach because I had the pleasure of going to three straight Orange Bowls, and boy, that curfew was a tough thing to make. So.
Yeah, but there was a reason T.O. used to take us down there like 2 weeks early because he knew the first 3-4 nights where no curfew.
Yeah,
get it out of your system. Go do what you got to do. Hopefully you don't get locked up. But I know you boys have been up in Lincoln, Nebraska for a long time. It's been a long year, so go have some fun.
And it was always snowing when we left. So I mean, we get down to Miami, it was a totally different thing. And those 3 or 4 nights of no curfew did help.
Yeah, because it's funny. Like you see some of the teams that go down on bowl games, like, and it doesn't matter what school you're at, but they don't go for like 2 weeks before.
No,
and that's like when T.O. would take us down there like 2 weeks before the game. And a lot of these schools now they'll go down maybe like sometimes 4 or 5 days before, maybe a week at most. But yeah, so down there for 2 weeks, it was nice. And after a while, after like 2-3 nights out, it's like, okay, back to business. Let's we're down here for a reason.
Right. Now, your time in Nebraska, you like I like the humility because you, before the show, you told me, you said, well, I had perfect timing. Yeah, but maybe I'll give that a little credit, but y'all had to put in work too, because I mean, your stats and your career kind of speaks for itself. I mean, you have the honor. I mean, Nebraska's only had 5 national championships in the history of the school, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
And you got 3 of them.
Yeah.
So you might have had perfect timing, but you also had put in some work.
Yeah. But, and I always feel like we need to pay homage to the guys that came before. You know, like you guys did. You set the culture, the winning, and it was just then the right group of guys that came together at the right time, and we just, we hated losing more than I think than we enjoyed winning. And yeah, it was just, I mean, I really try. Sometimes I think of it like how different was, our teams than your guys' teams, like what was the difference? And obviously I wasn't around back then, so I don't know exactly how everything went and operated, but I got, like Charlie McBride was still there.
Yeah.
And I know he was probably a little nastier, even, he got softer. Like, you'd hear the stories and the guys, that had him kind of in the 70s or whatever, they talk, talk about, the guys from the 80s and how easy they had it with Charlie. And the guys from the 80s would say, oh, you guys got a different Charlie. You got nice Charlie now in the 90s,
But I will say this. Coach Osborne was always the same.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know what? Now that I look back on it, he would always be kind of in the distance.
Yeah.
So he really didn't have to be McBride.
Right.
He didn't have to be them assistants.
Right.
Them assistants was serious.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Corrigan, all them guys,
Yeah.
Coach Huey. I mean, them dudes, man, Coach Osborne had this really good image, which I respect.
Yeah.
But he had some he had some assistants that had a different mindset.
Yeah. He knew that wasn't going to be his role, but you kind of need some of that on the team.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I was just telling one of the players earlier, I was texting one of the current guys, and I was like, look, man, like on defense, I mean, like, Coach Rule's kind of preaching to everybody, right? But like, you got to remember, like, we're defensive guys. We're black shirts. We kind of operate under a different mindset.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
we got kind of, a screw loose or two, like that's just the reality. Like, like we can all kind of, be brothers and we love one another. But when we go out there on that field, when it's Monday through Friday, who's ever on that other side, that is our enemy. Like it would be on game day. Like that's the way you have to approach it. And I think, that was huge. Like I think guys, like I know for us, like John Perella graduated the year before that I got here, but then there was Kevin Raymakers, Billy Wade, Christian was a big part of like that mentality where it was just like, you were not a dog. Like you were not gonna, not only not just play, you were just not gonna fare well out here at Nebraska. And you saw a lot of guys would come in and they would usually transfer after a year or two.
Right.
Because it was just so demanding, and there was zero room for softness. Like, God forbid if there was social media back then and one of us, especially D Lyman or a black shirt, put a dance video out on social media, TikToking or whatever with my girlfriend. Oh, you would have gotten it. I mean, you would have gotten beaten physically. Mentally, you would have just wanted to go and leave the state and never come back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it was demanding. And, I think everything can serve a purpose. Like Coach McBride wanted, sometimes I'd feel like I played a great game, especially early in your career. So, you feel like you play a great game, you get in the meetings then on Monday and he just tears you new. Like everything that you did was wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was a rhyme and reason for everything that he did. Like he wanted to know, are you going to be a guy that's going to go and cry and tell mom, I want to transfer, after coach yells at me?
Right.
Because he's got to know, do I have 11 dogs out there when it's 4th and 1 and the game is on the line? Are these guys going to just kind of curl up and roll over? Or are they going to stand up and want to fight?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, you got to have those guys. Coach Osborne had, all those assistants that kind of knew the buttons to push, and everybody was different. And, especially with Coach McBride, he knew what he could do to this guy, to that guy. Maybe he couldn't do that to that guy or that guy.
Yeah.
They were like,
well, see, here's the thing, Jason. I just want to see Nebraska back on top.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the current players, I think they'll appreciate it later.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm talking if you're blessed with life for another 20 years.
Yeah.
Man, you're going to be remembered by your playing day.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the part I would like for them to be on top so that they can walk around with their head up.
Yeah. And experience what it's like to be like a champion. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like to feel like, hey, I was part of a great football team out at Nebraska.
Correct.
It's something that you'll live with for the rest of your life.
Correct. But now, Jason, I think we share some commonalities after college.
Yeah.
That are real similar. And I just want to, mine's well documented. I mean, I basically turned into a genius as soon as I left Nebraska. And I went through what I went through, and it was basically just addiction based.
Yeah.
Now, you had somewhat of a similar situation. Is that correct?
Yeah. So for me, for me, the thing that really got it going was pain pills.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I had my first pain pills when I was here at Nebraska. Totally legit, banged my knee somehow. Doctor gave me a couple, just to help, with the pain at night. But I just remember the first time that I took them, and when, after about 20, 30 minutes, when that euphoric state, kind of kicks in, I was like, oh, like, I like the way this makes me feel. Now, after those 2 pills, it never came up, in my head again. Like, it wasn't a big deal. The only took them for legitimate reasons, and it was just a regular college student athlete. But I remember talking to guys like that were in the as I was getting ready to go to the NFL, and you talk to former guys that you played with or whatever, and they kind of make a joke like, make sure you got a full bottle of Vicodin before you go down, because it's NFL is that much more physical, and you always got to make sure that you're out on the field. There was the whole phrase, you can't make the club in the tub, that sort of thing. It's different now, and it's better that way. Like you never wanted to go into the trainer's room when you were in the NFL because you didn't want to get labeled as a guy that was kind of like always injured, or, like. Now I think it's much more, it's different. Like everybody's working together. Everybody's just trying to get everybody healthy so that they can get out on the field.
Yeah. You took me back when you said you can't make the club in the tub. I remember them days.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So, I go down and obviously get drafted by Carolina and go down there and playing in a new defense, like a 3-4 defense, which, I thought was odd anyway, because I was interior. I was like a 3 technique, kind of get up the field sort of deal. I mean, I love playing run, but, the style that we were playing 3-4, I was kind of, my job was kind of almost to hold up, 2 of the offensive linemen so that the linebackers could run free. And, before you know it, I got both playing with harnesses on both shoulders, so my shoulders don't pop out of the sockets, every time I get hit. And by season's end, I gotta have both. Actually, I had a neck injury then at the end of my rookie year as well. So I had this whole triangle up here, and so they looked at the neck. They thought, okay, you know what? Let's just let the neck settle down. We'll operate on one of the shoulders, right as the season ends, and then we'll get the other one a few months later. So, first one, major, they opened it up, had, rotator cuff, labrum tears, everything. But by the second one, it's already March. So basically just did it arthroscopically, whatever they could do. But part of that recovery of those surgeries is pain pills,
Oh, yeah. I
so that kind of then, got it going, right? Like, and I knew then, okay, wow, and then, going to an NFL city and, also then like being back up near New York City in the off season and stuff like that. You meet different doctors, shady doctors, they like to have a helmet on their desk, in return for the signed helmet, they'll send you down, like 300, 400 Vicodin.
Yeah.
So it was like in my eyes, it was like a win-win. Right. But all the time for all my 4 years down there in Carolina, and I would have pretty much 2 major surgeries each either at the end of each year or at some point during the year. Like my second year, got stuck under a pile out in San Francisco, got up, my neck was all kind of bent up, couldn't feel anything in my arms. Feeling stayed like that for like 2 weeks. And eventually the doctors were like, yeah, we need to go in, we need, do a discectomy or whatever, clean out some of the bone around the nerve. And, was back playing again 6-7 weeks later. But, the cycle goes and, you're hurting. Nobody feels like completely fresh and healed, in that league. That's part of the deal. But so you do whatever you need to do to get by. And, it starts where, you start by taking 2 after practice. And then, the 2 after practice turns into, well, then another 2, before bedtime. Then it turns into, well, maybe you wake up, halfway through the night and you take another 2 to help you sleep, and then before you know it, you're taking them in the morning, and it's just, but for the most part, I would always get cleaned up by the time I was, the season was about to go, and I wouldn't mess with it until then I got hurt again, and then the cycle kind of starts again. But yeah, so it was like that. And I did some other stuff like, just never, I would say like addiction stuff when I was in the NFL, but like in the off season, I mean, be up in New York City. And I mean, there were times where, I would do some cocaine or something like that, like it was just, I wasn't the only NFL player that was doing it, and you got to remember too. So when I was like a freshman, this will tell you who like I idolized growing up. Me and one of my buddies decided we were going to go get an earring, right? So went in and got an earring, right? And what kind of earring did I put in? A dangling lightning bolt. You know who wore a dangling lightning bolt?
I think his name is LT.
Yeah. Yeah, greatest defensive player of all time, right? So that was kind of my idol. Now, it only made it to dinner time, because when I got to dinner time, my dad said, you either take it out or I'm going to rip it out. So I took it out, and that was the end of the earring. But, like it certainly is something that has been long intertwined, with professional athletes and drugs, but yeah, by the end of it, when, I'm sitting in a room with George Seifert and the head doctors and the head trainers, and we've already had 2 or 3 surgeries on my neck, and still no real kind of symptom relief. They're saying, look, we can't clear you to play anymore. You're going to end up, in a wheelchair. And at the time, a few years before that, probably about 8 years before that, my younger brother had dove into a pool, and he was supposed to, you want to talk about a beast, Christian and I, like, our high school tape is real good. Like, you put my younger brother on, he was an offensive lineman. It was like a tornado was going through the line of scrimmage. Like, guys were just flying everywhere. So he was going to Notre Dame as an offensive tackle, right? I mean, so good that, like, and at the time, this was like 1994. Notre Dame was the only school that really got any sort of national coverage when it came to, like, recruiting class. Like, they got, on ESPN, and so Lou Holtz was on ESPN, and he was talking about the 1994 recruiting class. And he was like, we think we've signed the best offensive lineman we've ever signed here at Notre Dame in Damian Peter. And so 2 weeks before he was supposed to report the freshman camp, he dove into a pool that he had dove into 100 times before and just hit where the deep end comes up to the shallow end. Went off the diving board and went in and broke his neck. Yeah. So,
wow.
So, yeah, that was, that always lived in the back of my head as well. Now, he was able to recover eventually. It was a long recovery, but, he had the halo screwed into his head.
Yeah.
There was possibly an experimental drug that they used on him that certainly started to change things, like hours after they injected it into him. Although we never got confirmation whether or not he got the drug or the placebo. And he's fine. He's married, got kids now, and, can do most things, but that always lived in the back of my head as well. When kind of do I not listen to these doctors, that are telling me I need to retire? Do I try to keep playing? I mean, nowadays, I think I probably would have looked all over the world, to see if there's somebody that maybe had something that they could do. Right. Yeah. But back then it was different. That wasn't really kind of out there like that. There was, a specialist in LA, or there was a guy, down in Miami, but they were pretty much all doing the same stuff. But it got, so I don't know, do we have to take a break, or are we still going?
No, we're good.
We're good. But when that was done, right? So when they're sitting in there, we're all sitting in there, and they're telling me, we just can't clear you. We can't sign the papers anymore for you to play. So then it was like, oh, what am I going to do now? I thought I was going to play 10, 12 years in the league. I thought I'd go into the Hall of Fame one day, you have these expectations of yourself.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden, like, you never even really kind of got to scratch the surface a little bit. So that was hard, and, for sure fell into depression, and, just, looking for things to get, that dopamine level going and the endorphins going, and drugs did that for me. And especially, when I started to use cocaine, like, I knew right away, like, I'm in trouble here, because I like this drug.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you one thing. That cocaine, it did not only change your life, it changed mine as well.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take one more break. We're going to come back, and we're going to wrap this thing up. Don't y'all go anywhere. This 93.7 The Ticket. Stick it, you happy on now.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option: Führer's cheese spread. So he left at once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Back to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
And we're back. Man, I was just sitting there thinking about during the break, Jason, after ball was up behind you and you got into the cocaine thing real strong, I think the thing I'm the most proud of, though, is even though you went down that path, you didn't cash in all your chips, man. Yeah. You figured out a way to turn it around.
Yeah. It continued. Like cocaine then turned into crack, and then crack turned into heroin. And before you know it, it's like it's silver bullet time, it's just time to end it.
Yeah.
I remember I was sitting and going through the rehabs, like we were talking before, like I think it was in like 4 or 5 of them. And, you think everything's good. And then you come back out and then you're back in New York City for like 2 nights. And not even, I think I left rehab one time and was driving out to LA because one of these movie producers that I met was like, yeah, you need to come to LA, dude. I'm going to make a movie star out here. I stopped in Vegas and never made it out of Vegas then.
I know. Yeah. I know those people.
It's just the cycle. But ultimately, I remember sitting down and sitting in my parents' house and my dad saying to me, he's like, I don't understand. And like I said, he was an immigrant from Germany. He's like, I don't understand. Why can't you just stop? He's like, you've been through so much other stuff, like all the football stuff and the stuff that you've put your body through and everything. Like, why can't you just stop? And, and Charlie would call me and, he'd be like, hey, like, you're one of the tough guys, you can do this. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's such a mental battle. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what people don't understand.
Yeah. That's the draw.
Yeah.
Obviously when you start in with stuff like, the opiates and the heroin and stuff, then obviously there's a physical, and that becomes SOB to get off. But I forgot the question now already.
But you turned it all around.
Yeah. It's either one way or the other. And the other way would not have me being here right now.
Yeah.
And I got my act together and was living in California and got married, and then the radio station. So it was this old one. It was 1480, I think it used to be, right? 1480. Yeah. I used to do like some segments from California with Chris Schmidt on the radio, and they were like, they ended up offering me a job, and I came out here and moved out here and been here for now like 17, 18 years.
Yeah.
And it's home.
I'm just glad that, that you got it together, man, because I'm on 16 years and counting of clean and sober living, and I know the value.
Congrats.
Now. Yeah, I know the value of that now. Didn't really understand it like yourself when I was going through it, and plus, like I always reference myself, I was a genius, so I knew how to do everything. You couldn't tell me nothing, so I had all the answers until I realized I was the dumbest person I knew. You know how that part goes. Well, listen, man. Again, thank you. I just want to say thank you for being on the show. I got to ask you my final question that I ask everyone. when Jason Peters get any free time, how does he get his happy on?
My free time, my happiness comes from now watching my kids have success. So, you know, I got one that's a golfer at Lincoln East. I got another one that's a volleyball player at Lincoln East. Okay. So their successes now bring me joy.
Okay. There you have it, y'all. We've had a great time with you, Jason, man. I just want you to know that. I wrap my show up the same way every week. So this week's no different. And I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. So Bach going to have to hold it down for me for 2 weeks. Every day you blessed to say is just another day in paradise. And no matter what, you got to get your happy on. Go! I'll see y'all when I get back.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agriculture storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post-frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training.